Okay guys, so I bought my new Xbox One X limited edition Project Scorpio. I preloaded the software that I wanted to use. I think I had Forza 7 at the time and Rise of the Tomb Raider and a couple of other games. And unboxed the unit, plugged the drive into the front USB port, only to find every time I launched a game at an unknown interval it would just throw me back to the dashboard. And then I guess through further experimentation I discovered that front port was a bit of a problem. I took another drive from another Xbox that I have in the house, plugged that into the front USB port of my Xbox One X console, and it didn't lose power to the drive, but it just wouldn't copy anything from it, so it exhibited a different kind of problem altogether. But obviously there was something just not right with that front USB port. So I guess what I did was I plugged that drive, the initial drive with my preloaded Xbox One X games on it, into one of the back ports on the Xbox One X, and lo and behold, everything was fine. I was able to play games from that drive in that port, as well as the secondary USB port in the rear of the console. That was also okay. I tried copying games from the external drive to the internal drive, and at the same time launched games from the external drive just to give that drive a bit more activity to see if I could force the error on those back USB ports, but no, they worked absolutely fine. So this video here, it's just a video that I've put together to, I guess, try and see what the time differences, if any, there are across the three different USB ports in transferring data. There isn't a lot. There's, even with the drive falling off and then the Xbox re-identifying it and continuing the copy process, every time that happens, it still only manages to be about 5 seconds behind the other two ports on the console. Yeah, so the most unusual thing is that when you plug the drive in initially, the transfer speeds seem fine. The games seem to start up okay. It's after a period of time, again, it's unknown. That could be a minute, it could be 10 minutes. Generally, if I'm just transferring data from the get-go after the Xbox One X turns on for the first time, it might do somewhere between 5 to 12 gigabytes before it starts losing connectivity to that drive. I did read somewhere where one of the Xbox engineers developed some kind of new tech with regards to dynamic power allocation, and if that is true, and if my memory serves me correctly, based on what I'm seeing here, is a drive that starts operating fine on the front USB port, only to later on start developing issues with regards to dropping off, hence power. So, it's not an impossible thought to think that maybe in the future a firmware update could possibly resolve this issue, but it doesn't clarify why this Xbox One X limited edition version is having issues with that USB port where another may not be. Again, we are comparing oranges with apples because the next person may be using a different USB external drive. I'm using a Turo, and it works across all my Xbox Ones. I have 2 others and I do not have any issues with it. So given that it works on those back USB ports as well, it kind of says that there is a hardware problem. Is it something Microsoft could fix with a firmware update? Granted, they have engineered some new gizmo that dynamically allocates power to resources that require it. For some reason, in this case, it decides that that drive no longer needs power, incorrectly, mind you. But for now, I am going to send this one back to the service center, and I hope to receive another limited edition in return. If not, I'm sorry, but I'll be returning my Xbox One X in favor of another one at a later stage when I finally get myself a 4K TV. As for now, it is making a lot of the games that I currently have on a 1080p screen better. And I don't mean visually better, but I'm enjoying the extra smoothness that comes with some of the better frame rates that you get way back, as far as your Xbox 360 software library through to, some of the newer games now. I mean, I put on Halo 5 and geez, that looks sensational even at 1080p. I don't know what they're doing there. That game's unpatched, but it really does look and feel a lot better. Is it the placebo effect? I don't know. I did look back at a game like Quantum Break, and there's a drastic improvement there in visuals. Jaggies are eliminated, clarity's all round better. Picture quality's just far superior to what it was on the original Xbox One. I'm just not convinced that at this stage without a 4K TV, if I can't have in my possession a limited edition, that I do want to keep just a generic Xbox One X when I don't have a 4K TV. But anyway, these are just my thoughts and experiences with the unit to date. I will bring up one other issue, and it looks like this particular unit, just like that front USB port, is losing power on the Wi-Fi device, because there are times when I'm getting screamingly fast speeds here with my provider, and everything in the house is working superbly, and the Xbox One X just won't log in, and my original Xbox will. I do a test on the Xbox One X, and it can't determine the download speed or the upload speed. It won't log in. It just doesn't look like there's any power going to that Wi-Fi. Power the box off completely, pull the cable out, plug it back in, and Bob's your uncle, everything's fine again. So yeah, there are some initial teething problems that are occurring. No doubt updates will fix some of these, but with regards to that USB port, again, this one's going back.